Okay. And good evening, guys. Welcome to another night of Cardiac Baseball. Tonight we're going to go into the National League. It's not one of the games I think everybody would like to have seen, but it's one I think we may have fun with. The Chicago Cubs, 1961. We were at April 11th, 1961. We are still on the opening day games for a lot of these teams. We have the 1961. We're going to have the Chicago Cubs versus the Cincinnati Redlegs. Jim O'Toole will pitch against Glenn Hobbie. Glenn Hobbie at this time Glenn Hobbie for the Chicago Cubs. Jim O'Toole for the Cincinnati Reds. Here are the starting lineups, and we already have two trivia questions we will be running right off the bat. Hopefully they're quite easy. All I have to do is just look hard. Okay. For Chicago Cubs, Richie Ashburn will be the starting hitter for the Chicago Cubs. He's playing left field. The Gerbil will be playing second base, Don Zimmer. Billy Williams is at right field. Ernie Banks will be playing shortstop today. Mr. Cub, at that time, he was the shortstop. Ron Santos at third. Al Heist is at center field. Andre Rogers will be playing first base. Mo Thacker is the catcher. And Glenn Hobbie is our pitcher. That is the Chicago Cubs starting lineup. Again, as you guys know, I'll put real-life stats up for the first round of bats. After that, the season takes over. For the Cincinnati Reds, Eddie Casco is the shortstop. Vada Pinson will be our center fielder. Frank Robinson is our left fielder. Wally Post is the right fielder. Gene Freese is the third baseman. The first baseman is Gordy Coleman. I think they traded away Kluszewski then. Ed Bailey is our catcher. Second baseman is Jim Balmer. And the pitcher is Jim O'Toole, who happens to be a switch hitter, by the way. One of a few in this league, by the way. Okay, I have two trivia questions already in here. On this starting roster everybody's looking at, and hopefully you guys can look at it real close, if not, you expand your game. There are two managers, a Hall of Fame, for the Cincinnati Reds. How many Hall of Famers are on this roster? And the Chicago Cubs features a man who was the first 300 hitter for the New York Mets. And tell me all four names. I'll give you that much. There are four names. The second trivia question is the worst experiment in National League history happened in 1961. What was it? Execute all the transactions, of which there are none. The only transaction was Mr. Constable was removed from the Minnesota Twins roster on this date. I am the Cincinnati Reds, guys. Unfortunately, I still play American League Baseball. I apologize. All right, Jim O'Toole for the Cincinnati Reds in 1961 was 19-9 with an ERA of 3.10. As anybody knows, Cincinnati won the pennant but lost to the Yankees. It was one of the few times, one of the last, or no, I don't think so. I take that back. They lost them 4 games to 1. Glenn Hobbie went 7-13 for the Chicago Cubs. O'Toole has a small chance of making a complete game. Hobbie does not. We will look that up as we go along also. And here we go. Again, guys, this is the artist's rendition. I do apologize. Cincinnati grew a whole lot back then. If you guys have seen my 1929 picture of Crosley Field and also my 1956 picture, a lot of it sort of grew into there. Okay, that's where the clock is now. It used to be over here, I think. All right, this either came out of Stratomatic or Action PC. You guys let me know. You'll know better than I will. Until I come up with some decent photos, I'm going to try. Take some time during our tenure here. Also, for anybody's interested, I now have 43 seasons set up in Digital Diamond, including from 1998 through 2017. So we got all sorts of seasons. Anybody want to see me start one off? I can, but right now we will stick with 1961. Again, like I said, I will leave the real life stats up for the first round. Jim O'Toole, except for sometimes I'll have to do this, and I don't mind doing it. Jim O'Toole, like I said, went 19-9. He got 35 games, completed 11, all starts. Actually, no, he was relieved in 4 games, had 2 saves. He gave up 16 home runs. He walked 93, struck out 178, almost a 2-for-1 turn. That's not a bad thing. Not quite a strikeout an inning, but not too decent either. He had a 3.10 ERA, had 6 wild pitches, had a whip of 1.27, just a little over what I call my standard. He's got a good hold rate of 2. The lower the number, the better we are. He's got a decent duration. He likes that we might be able to get a complete game out of him. Someone describe WAR to me because I'm not real keen on E-WAR and that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's just me. Sorry, guys. I like the old school stats, but the new ones are not bad. If you're the Saber metrics, go for it. I am not a big one on it. I still believe in the old eyeball. You can eyeball a decent player out there. Now I just watched, and also in the background, guys, and sorry to disappoint, I got to keep it in mute. I have the Orioles and the Yankees. Manny Machado's hit 2 home runs. Davis has hit a home run. Oh, if I get a live shot of this, would be perfect. Okay, it is 3-2 Baltimore, so it's still a decent game. Sabathia is out. He's getting his hip checked by an MRI. And that's about the current stuff I can come up with real quick, except that the LA Dodgers and San Francisco game was postponed. Richie Ashburn's our man. He batted .257 for the Chicago Cubs in 1961. No home runs, 19 RBIs. Here is the pitch to Ashburn. It is a 3-1-1. And the pitch is heading out, towering fly towards left center field. Pinson's gliding over toward in front of the scoreboard, and he waits for it, and now he has it. We have 1 down here in the top of the first inning. As always, I do try to keep a scorebook here. By the way, if anyone can recommend a real good scorebook, I need to be able to cover 2,000 games a year, roughly. So I need at least a 500-pager would be awful nice. If anybody can recommend one to me, I will be more than happy to go get them. I think I can find them at Dick's Sporting Goods or something like that. They should have them. The next batter is Don Zimmer. Surprisingly, guys, our gerbil hit 13 home runs for Chicago, 40 RBIs. At a batting average of .252. Man hit some decent doubles, 25. He had 38, 42 hits out of 124 extra bases. The man could actually hit. He batted .252, struck out 70 times, did not walk a lot. Only 40 RBIs, though, so I got a feeling some of these hits were for naught. Here is the pitch to the gerbil. A 6-1-1. And pitch is on its way. Swung on to the line drive to Bomber. He is right there. He makes the play over towards his right before it can get out of the infield. Nice snag by our second baseman. And we have 2 down here in the top first inning. Due up to bat here is Billy Williams. Billy Williams hit 25 home runs, 86 RBIs for our Cubbies. Had a .278 average. Had also 20 doubles that is either hit or miss. Also struck out 70 times. Not a lot of base stealing in the Cubs in the 1960s, but there wasn't a lot of base stealing in any of the leagues. Maury Wills actually beat more teams than he by himself than anybody else. Here is the pitch to Billy Williams. And it is a 1-4-0. Coming on down, Mr. O'Toole. Bring it in. Swung on and missed. William fans. And for any of you William fans, he fanned. And that is a strikeout on a swing and a miss at the end of the top first inning. Chicago has no runs, no hits, nobody left on base. Cincinnati is coming up to bat. And I see Hyatt Tribe. This is the worst experiment yellow baseballs? Not in 1961, it wasn't. Think about 1961 and remember the 2 teams I've got playing. Worst experiment in National League history. And just think about it. And I'll tell you what, there, Tribe, I'll give you a chance. Go into Baseball Reference, you'll find it. I'll give you the chance to look at that one because it is so weird. And people forget about it. We are at the bottom of the first inning. Eddie Casco is our man today. He has batted .271 for the 1961 Cincinnati Reds. 2 home runs, 27 RBIs. And here is the pitch to Casco. It is a 9-8-2. And he looks like he may be starting the season out right. That's heading out towards left field. It hits into the gap. Ashburn's on the run, reaches up and misses it. pops off the wall for a double back into his glove. Casco's on his way towards second base, and he slides in and is safe. Eddie Casco starts the game for Cincinnati with a double. Due up the bat here is Vada Pinson. Vada Pinson hit .343 for the Cincinnati Reds in 1961. Had 16 home runs, 87 RBIs. And here is the pitch to Pinson. It is a 6-1-5. Hobbie turns ready. He's ready to deliver softly in the air towards Ashburn. He comes on in and makes a great catch. And we have one down here in the bottom of the first. Eddie Casco is on second on a fly ball to Ashburn. Coming up is the other deadly hitter for Cincinnati, Frank Robinson. Frank Robinson batted .323. Had 37 home runs, 124 RBIs, decent base stealer, lousy bunter. 5 is, by the way, the worst in this game here. Outstanding runner, they say. So this man knew he may not have sold a lot of bases, but what he can do is he's a smart runner. That helps. Also had a great on-base percentage, or OPS, sorry about that. Here is the pitch to Frank Robinson. A 9-8-8. And that is, they were ready. Robinson bore down it right into his woodhouse. He just jacks it out of there towards the warehouse. And Frank Robinson starts his season off with a 2-run jack. Cincinnati starts with a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the first inning. He brings in Eddie Casco. Due at the bat is Wally Post. Wally Post batted .294. Had 20 home runs, 57 RBIs for the Cincinnati Reds in 1961. There is one down. Here is the pitch to Post. A 6-9-2. And Hobbie's still getting the jitters here. So off, he walks Post on 4 straight pitches. Covered that will be Gene Freeze. Gene Freeze also hit 26 home runs, 87 RBIs here at Crosley Field. And Post his way on first. Here is the pitch to Freeze. A 0-8-3. And Hobbie told his runner, he delivers it. Struck Freeze out. He goes down looking. And he just looked right at that one coming in. Never even took the bat off his shoulders. We have a strikeout for Glenn Hobbie. There is 2 down here in bottom first inning. Wally Post is on first. Gordy Coleman is who batted .287 and also hit 26 home runs for the Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati had a lot of home run hitters on this team. Good reason why they actually did win the pennant. And here is the pitch from Hobbie to Coleman. A 5-4-3. Post is held on by Rogers. Hobbie cranks it up. That's going out towards Billy Williams. Deep and fly back, but he just seems to be drifting out there, and the ball drops right into his glove. A great basket catch. We have 3 down, but the Cincinnati Reds put 2 runs on 2 hits. There was nobody left on base on a home run by Frank Robinson. And 1 man left on base at the end of 1. It is Cincinnati 2, Chicago nothing. Coming to bat for the Cubs will be Ernie Bank, Ron Santos, and Heist. And Tribe, if you figured it out yet, you'll like it. Ernie Banks, our man, had 29 home runs, 80 RBIs for the Chicago Cubs, 1961, batted .278. Mr. Cub here, who had also had 22 doubles, managed to get 4 triples out of there. Does wonderful against right-handers. He did better against left, even though he never hit the same amount of home runs. Here is the pitch by O'Toole to Banks. A 7-2-1. And pitch is on its way. Jim O'Toole got a little bit too careful, and he walked Ernie Banks. Banks is on first, and he is a small threat to steal. Ron Santo, our third base, was our next man. 23 home runs, 83 RBIs, go along with a 284 batting average. Also had managed to hit 32 doubles. He was up there with the leaders in the league. Again, poor butter, poor runner. Here is the pitch to Santo. Nobody out. Here we go. A 2-0-0. Swung out to hard ground ball over towards Casco. He hits towards it, nips his glove, bounces towards the line. It is going to be an error on Casco as heading back there. Freeze had to go get the ball. Banks will take third. Santo will take second. We have a threat here in the top of the second inning for the Chicago Cubs on an E6. Eddie Casco. And due up the bat is Al Heiss. He hit 255 for the Cubs. We have runners on second and third. The infield is going to come into play this one here. And this is probably the only true mistake with the Reds, especially on ground ball, with our game here, especially with the ground balls. And if Mark or anybody else from Digital Diamond is listening, it is probably your one lone fault. Not enough plays to home, especially on the ground if runners are going to try. If you're going to keep them on base, keep them. If you're going to run them, give the player a chance. In my other game, as I've mentioned, National Pastime, they do this a lot. I get a lot of plays going towards home on this, unless the ball hits to the outfield. Here is the pitch to Heiss. Nobody out. It's a 0-7-3. And O'Toole bears down in the stretch. He rocks this one and fires. Swing and a miss by Heiss. He got him on an off-speed pitch. We have one down on a strikeout by Jim O'Toole. Coming up to bat will be Andre Rogers, the first baseman. He hit 266, had 6 home runs, 23 RBIs. Got 17 doubles, wasn't fast enough to even get a triple out of there, though he could run fairly decently. Of course, Wrigley Field is not necessarily notorious for that. And here is the pitch to Rogers. Bag steps away. 2-7-2. And O'Toole cranks up the deal, swung on Rogers, hits the slide on the ground towards second base, up with his bomber. He gets out Rogers by a step. Banks will score from third on the ground ball. And Santos will take second. Cubs have their first run. On the out by Rogers. And coming to bat is Thacker, the catcher. We have 2 down here in the top of the second inning. It is 2-1 now, Cincinnati. Mo Thacker is our batter. He batted 171 for the Cubs in 1961. Here is the pitch. A 4-9-8. O'Toole has the sign. Rocks back. Here it is. Poked up the middle. Casco rages over it. Gloves the ball. Gets over towards second base. Fires into first for the out. And we have 3 down. At the end of 1.5, it is Cincinnati 2, Chicago 1. That was no runs on 1 run on no hits. 1 man left on base. Coming back for the Cincinnati Reds will be Ed Bailey, Bomber, the second baseman, and O'Toole. Ed Bailey batted .302 for the Cincinnati Reds in a limited role as the catcher. Had no home runs, 2 RBIs. It was a very limited role in 1961. I don't think he ended up being the starting catcher by the time the season was done. 12 games. I think he was sent down or he got injured. 1 of the 2. That I do not know. I'll have to look up. And here we go. Bailey gets a 5-5-5. Hobbie looks down, gets the sign. Here comes the pitch. Ground ball to the whole left side. Santos makes a great stab, steps his feet, and guns over towards first to retire Bailey on the ground ball. We have 1 down in the bottom of the second inning. Coming in is Jim Bomber for the second baseman for the Reds. He hit 125. So Noma didn't last long in the Reds organization. He only got in 10 games. I think he was sent down. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'll have to look this stuff up later on. And Jim Palmer batted 125. I didn't do my homework. I apologize, guys. Here is the pitch. 6-0-0. Hobbie at the belt, comes to the plate, broken bat, bouncing right at Rogers. He gets it on the perfect top, hands it over to Hobbie, who gets the runner, and we have 2 down. For any of you keeping score, count that as 3-1. Due up the bat will be James O'Toole, the pitcher. He batted 172, no home runs, 6 RBIs. Switch hitting pitcher, actually, believe it or not. Here is a pitch by Hobbie. A 5-3-3. And payoff pitch, and that is swung on. A high fly ball towards deep left field. Ashburn is drifting back towards the warning track and waits for it to come down. Makes the play. We have a 1-2-3 inning for the Chicago Cubs at the end of 2. It is Cincinnati 2, Chicago 1. Due up to bat for the Chicago Cubs will be Glenn Hobbie, Richie Asborn, and Don Zimmer. And if you're still watching, Tribe, let me give you the answer to that one about the worst experiment. The Chicago Cubs had the College of Coaches in 1961. They had 4 managers running, and they all stayed on the team the entire year. The College of Coaches, they called it. Worst mistake ever in National League history, I think. One of the dumbest things to do. You still got the other question, though. There are 2 managers. The first man to hit 300 for the New York Mets. And how many players on the Cincinnati side are in the Hall of Fame on that side? Glenn Hobbie batted 167 for the Cubs, had 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. And here is the pitch. It is a 7-9-9. O'Toole deals. He misses it inside, and he walks the opposing pitcher. That is never a good sign in baseball. And Hobbie is on with the walk. Due at the bat is Richie Ashburn. First time up at bat here. He flew out to our center fielder. Everybody has been introduced. If anybody needs more introductions, give me a holler. I will set it up, and we can look at things other ways. Richie Ashburn's our man. He flew out to center. Here is the pitch to Ashburn. A 0-7-8. O'Toole, Ashburn raises and deals. Limit to the left, right at Robinson. He pulls it in on a fliner, as they want to call it nowadays, on a sort of a line drive hit. And we have 1 down here in the top of the 3rd inning. Don Zimmer's our batter. Last time up, he lined out the bomber at second base. Second baseman to second baseman. And here is the pitch to Zimmer. Hobbie's away. He's got the lead. 7-1-7. And O'Toole hits Zimmer. And he plunks her in the back. And we have a runner on second and first. Due up is Billy Williams. Billy Williams is always a perennial threat for a home run. Last time out, he did strike out, though. Runners are on first and second in the top 3rd inning. Hobbie's at the second. Here we go. Here is the pitch to Williams. A 4-1-4. O'Toole delivers off speed, line sharply towards the left side, right to Coleman out there. He makes the grab. Across his body, makes the grab, and Billy Williams is out on the line out to Coleman. Zimmer remains on first. Hobbie's on second. Coming to bat is Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks. Here we go. 2 away. Chicago is threatening. 0-5-7. O'Toole at the stretch, comes from the belt, swing and a miss by Banks, and he finishes off with a fiery fastball, and that is a strikeout. The 3rd one for O'Toole. At the end of the 3rd inning, it was no runs, no hits, 2 runs left on base. Comes back for the Cincinnati Reds will be Eddie Casco, Frank Robinson, Vada Pinson, and Frank Robinson. Eddie Casco is having a good day and a bad day at the same time. He is got 1 of the 2 Cincinnati hits. He doubled in the very first inning. Scored on Frank Robinson's home run and made an error that brought in the Cubs run. Here is the pitch to Casco. 4.95. Hobbie turns and releases. Fly ball out towards left field. Not deep. Ashburn's getting into position. Here it comes. Sucks it into his glove, and we have one down. Coming up to bat is Vada Pinson. He is 0 for 1. Last time he flew out to our left fielder. Here is the pitch. 3-1-7. Hobbie cranks, fires the 2-hopper to Banks. Banks grabs it down and tosses the first for the easy out. Pinson couldn't even hardly get the bat off, get towards the towards our warning line there, and it is a 6-3 on the play. Coming up is Frank Robinson. Frank Robinson has one home run, 2 RBIs, and here is the pitch. It's a 0-4-8. Hobbie cranks it up and gets them swinging on a fastball. That is a second strikeout for Hobbie. It is a 1-2-3 inning once again for the Chicago Cubs. At the end of 3, it is Cincinnati 2, Chicago 1. Coming to bat for the Cubbies will be Ron Santos, Al Heist, and Andre Rogers. Okay, let's see what we got here. It is, for real life, for anybody who's watching, it is 3-3, Baltimore, New York. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. I got a feeling we just had a smack jack. Not sure who it is. I can find it real quick, but it is a 3-3 tie. Who's my pitcher? Tell me that's not Brock pitching. I'll be so angry because I got him on my... whoever it was he hit, I got a feeling it's D. Gregorius. Number 18. Nope, it's not Brock, so I'm lucky. Okay, I've got Brock on my Facebook page. Oh shoot, yeah, I forgot about that. Damn. All right. Okay, Ron Santos, our man. Here is the pitch. It is a 1-8-9. Up nicely, cracked into the hole. Freeze comes up, makes the turn and fires over to first for the out. We have one down here in the top of the 4th inning. Jim O'Toole's on the mound here in the 4th for the Cincinnati Reds on a wonderful day. Up to bat is Al Heist. Last time up, actually Ron Santos last time up, he reached down the air by Eddie Casco. Al Heist struck out his last time up. And here is the pitch to Heist. A 0-2-6. O'Toole delivers on this one here, and he gets it swinging on a letter high fastball. That is 2 down. The second time Heist has been struck out. Coming to bat will be Andre Rogers. Last he got the lone RBI on a little base hit towards second base. He is still 0 for 1 on a ground ball, on a ground out. O'Toole's on the mound, and he has 4 strikeouts to go along, 2 walks. Here we go. Here is the pitch. 2-8-6. And that is heading out towards right field. Post has a long way to go. He is heading out there, runs down, makes a great catch towards the foul pole. And we are done with the 4th inning for the Chicago Cubs. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. At the end of 3.5, it is Cincinnati 2, Chicago 1. Coming up to bat is Wally Post, Gene Freeze, and Mr. Coleman himself. Beatles, how you doing? Okay, here are the questions for you, Beatles. I've asked 2 of them this time, okay? Yeah, you, in your case, take your time. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll set my lineups up for you. I got a few questions that involves the lineups. Actually, a triple question. In my lineups, and let me see if I get into there real quick. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. In my lineups, as you can see them right here, hopefully you can read them. I'm not sure if you can or not. In there are 2 managers. The first player to ever hit 300 for the New York Mets. And to help you out there for a quick clue, it was also his last season in the majors. Also in this bunch, the question is on my starting lineup here, and there are some real good players out there on the Cincinnati Reds. How many are in the Hall of Fame? The second question is probably one of the worst and stupidest things ever in the National League happened in 1961. What was it? And it involves one of these two teams. Wally Post is the man. He is walked in his lone appearance. He walked in the first inning. And here is the pitch to Post. It is a 9-7-1. And that is heading out towards left field. It's going deep. Ashburn's looking back, looks up at the wall and sees it's gone. And Wally Post hits his first home run of the season for the Cincinnati Reds as they take a 3-1 lead. Due up is Gene Freeze. Umpire brushes off the plate. Here we go. 5:04. That's heading out towards deep hole, but it was snared by Santos. Gets 1 foot on the grass back there, and he fires over to Rogers. Makes a great play. And we have one down here in the bottom of the 4th inning on a ground ball to Ron Santo. Due up will be Gordy Coleman. Gordy Coleman flew out to right field his first time up. For our first baseman for the Reds, here's the pitch. A 0-7-4. That's heading out towards Banks on a 2-hopper. Banks comes up with it, scoops it up, fires over to first. We have 2 down. Second one, the Banks able to keep the ball on the ground for Banks. Due up the bat will be Ed Bailey. Ed Bailey is 0 for 1. He grounded out to our third baseman in the second inning. And here is the pitch. A 1-3-1. Next offering comes up from Hobbie as line sharply towards the right side, but there's Rogers, makes the diving play before it can leave the infield and grabs a line drive for the out. And that is 3 away here in the bottom of the 4th, but 1 run on 1 hit. Nobody was left on base. At the end of 4, it is Cincinnati 3, the Chicago Cubs 1. Okay, you've got the first one right. Somebody let Al know I'm on the line, so I'll be in there in about half an hour. Jim O'Toole's on the mound. Mo Thacker, the catcher. He is 0 for 1. Grounded out to the shortstop. Thacker, Hobbie, and Richie Ashburn are coming up in this inning. Here is the pitch to Thacker. 0-4-4. O'Toole steps in there. Swing and a miss by Thacker. He goes down on a breaking ball. We have 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th inning and top of the 5th inning. Coming in will be Glenn Hobbie. Glenn Hobbie walked his first time up. 1 of O'Toole's 2 walks this game. And here we go. 4:07. And Globey gets the bat on there, wraps it towards the left side. Spears on a very short hop into him, gives him a little bit of trouble, and he fires the first just in time on that wicked hop, and we have 2 down. Due up to bat will be Richie Ashburn. Richie Ashburn is 0 for 2 today. He has flown out twice, 1 to center, 1 to left. Let's see if he can get the hat trick. For our great Red fans here in Cincinnati at Crosley Field, here's the pitch. 6-5-4. Whoops. There we go. Okay, O'Toole's ready to deal. Hit hard on the ground at first base. Coleman grabs it, steps on the bag for the out. And we have 3 away on the 3 unassisted. At the end of 4.5, it is Cincinnati 3, Chicago 1. Due up to bat for the Reds will be Jim Balmer, Jim O'Toole, and Eddie Casco. At the bottom of the 5th inning here. Okay, the other two of the questions you got in there are, there are 2 Major League managers on these rosters. And the first person to hit 300 for the New York Mets is on one of these rosters. Okay? The other question is, the stupidest thing that was done in the National League happened in 1961. You, the historian, should get that one because it really was one of the dumbest things to ever happen. I'll help you out. It involves the Cubs. And Jim Bomber's up. He's 0 for 1. Grounded out to our first baseman who gave it to Hobbie. Here is the pitch. A 5-7-1. Hobbie steps off the mound. He's ready. Here comes the pitch. Bomber hits it slowly towards shortstop. Ernie Banks has to come on in for it. Throws it up. Fires over to Rogers for the grab. We have one down. Due up is Jim O'Toole. Jim O'Toole last time out flew out lazily over towards Richie Ashbourne in left field. Here is the pitch to O'Toole. 8-4. And O'Toole heads it out towards right field. Swung on. There's a little flare out there. Wade's got the jump coming in a hurry, but it's going to drop first. O'Toole will take first base on the base hit for the Cincinnati Reds. We have a runner on first. And even though we've got a score of 3-1, that is the first base runner for the Cincinnati Reds since the first inning. Otherwise, it's been a home run. Due up is Eddie Casco. Eddie Casco is 1 for 2. Scored the first run of the game on a double. Here's the pitch. 7-6-6. Hobbie looks at O'Toole coming off the mound. Casco is in and out. There we go. And swung on. It's a nice little flare to right field. Heiss was just a little slow. He couldn't get it to beat on the ball. And Haskell will take it. He's staying at first with a single. O'Toole will stop at second base. We have runners on first and second with 2 down. With 1 down, I take that back. I lied. O'Toole's on second. Casco's on first. Coming up is Vada Pinson. Vada Pinson is 0 for 2 today. Flown out to left. Grounded out to the shortstop. And here is the pitch. 7-7-9. Here it comes. Swung on. It's a ground ball sharply up the middle. It just missed O'Toole. Vada Pinson gets it out towards center field. And they're going to send in O'Toole. That's going to be good enough. O'Toole keeps going. Here comes O'Toole for the score. They fired back in, throw it back into second base, and it is a 4-1 game for our Cincinnati Reds. Casco is on second. Vada Pinson is on first with his first base hit of the year. Coming to bat is Frank Robinson. Frank Robinson is 1 for 2 today. He has flown out. He has struck out and hit a home run. Here's the pitch. 4-8-3. 1 down, by the way, here in the game. That is, he awaits it. Toby turns on. That is hit towards Santo. Hits hard in the hole. Nice stop by Santos. Throws to Zimmer for 1. And to Rogers for 2. Double play here for the Chicago Cubs as they save what could have been potentially a blowout inning. That is a 5-4-3 inning. And for the Cincinnati Reds, they got 1 run, 3 hits. They left 1 man on base. It is 4-1 Cincinnati after 5 innings. And due up to bat for the Reds, for the Chicago Cubs, will be Don Zimmer, the gerbil, Billy Williams, and Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub. So far, we've got a great one going here, folks. Oh, do I get anybody? And you're right. Good on the call of the Cubs. The College of Coaches, one of the stupidest things ever done. I think the Cubs. I can look real quick. I got the board up here anyway. My God. I can go to here, and I'll bring it back up where I need to be. There we go. Okay. And go to season schedule. There we go. Okay. Nope. I want to go to this. Go back to here real quick. I'm in Baseball Reference, by the way, real quick. There, beat. I apologize. And the Cubs didn't finish dead last. They almost did, though. They finished in 7th. They were still in 18 league over there in the National League back then. The American League were at 10. They had the Washington Senators and the Los Angeles Angels. I'll play a game from them later on down the road when they get up there, when they're at home, just so you can see where they played. And the Dodgers, too. The Dodgers didn't play in Chavez Ravine in 1961. They in Toronto did the same thing. Okay. Due up here will be Don Zimmer. Again, Billy Williams and Ernie Banks. Here is the pitch to Zimmer. A 2-1-7. O'Toole has a sign, rocks back. Here it is. High bound to third base. Freeze managed to get it up there. Gets down, makes the throw. Retires Zimmer, and we have one down here in the top of the 6th inning. Due up is Billy Williams. He is 0 for 2 today. He has lined a shot to Coleman and has struck. He was O'Toole's first strikeout victim of the game. Here is the pitch to Williams. A 8-5-0. That's hanging out towards right field. Post is trying to chase it down. It's a duck. He's trying to get there. All he can do, and it drops in front of him. And Williams is on first with the first Cubs hit of the season. O'Toole pitched 5-1. He got 5 1/3 before Williams finally got a base hit. Due up is Ernie Banks. Ernie Banks walked, scored the lone Cubs run off an error and a ground ball, and he struck out. Williams is on first. Let's see what we're going to be doing here. And the Cubs are going to try. Williams is going to see if he can try to get the steal. Williams steps off. That's all he had to do is just threaten him, and he will stay at first. Here is the pitch to Banks. 4-4-4. And O'Toole checks Williams. If he keeps him close still, he has the sign. Rocks back. Fly ball out towards left field. Frank Robinson's getting down there. Hauls the ball in. We have 2 away. Due up the bat is Ron Santo. He is also 0 for 2 today. Reached on an error and grounded out. Here is the pitch to Santo. 6-9-1. Williams at first. Here comes Santos. There we go. Put the ball back in there like it belongs. Coleman's holding the bag. Ain't trying to steal. And Santos looks at one going on the outside corner and misses. That is the 3rd walk given up by O'Toole today. Williams will take second. Cubs have runners on first and second. Obviously, a scoring run is in there. Al Heist is our batter. He has struck out twice. Here is the pitch to Heist. 6-0-8. O'Toole kicks and deals. The runners are going. This one's going deep to center field, drifting over towards Pinson. He's heading back towards the center field wall and gets there just in time. Turns, makes the grab. We have 3 down. On a great play by Vada Pinson at the end of 5 1/2. It is Cincinnati 4, Chicago 1. There was no runs, 1 hit, 2 men left on base at the end of 5 1/2. It is 6-1. Due up for the Cincinnati Reds is Wally Post, Gene Freeze, Gordy Coleman. Now keep in mind the Chicago Cubs were trying to do anything they could to win. They had the hitters. They didn't think much of the pitchers back then. That's what they needed most. They could have had a beautiful team. They could have gotten pitching. But take a look. Banks, Santos, Williams. Are you kidding me? They had bats galore. Even Heist was a hitter. That's a shame, too, because they really had a team to hit. All they just needed was pitching. And then, of course, in 62, they grabbed Glenn Becker. So that's one of the smarter moves, too. By the way, now, I'll tell you what, I'll give you the other answer real quick. Richie Ashburn went to the Mets in 1962. It was his final season ever in baseball. Hit 306. Only player to hit over 300. Frank Thomas got the home runs. Here's the pitch to Post here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 1-7-3. Post waits, turns on the rubber, and Wally Post is struck out. One down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. That is the 3rd strikeout for Glenn Hobbie. Due up the bat will be Gene Freeze. Here comes the pitch. 4-9-7. And here we go. Hobbie's on the rubber. He delivers. Nice ground ball to Banks, and he tosses first. At first is off the mark. Rogers attempts to tag Freeze going by, but he misses the tag. It will be an error on Ernie Banks. Fires in front of the base instead of at the base and makes an error. Rogers tried to do a sweep tag, and Freeze was able to get under it. Gordy Coleman is 0 for 2 today. He has flown out and grounded out 2 of the very same Ernie bags. That is the first error on the Cubs this season, by the way. We have 1 down. Coleman is a decent bunter with 1 out. We're going to see if we can try to get a hit and run going. 7-3-3. Hobbie looks down, gets signed. Here we go. Freeze is running. Swung on. That's a ducker in the right field. Williams, a little slow react. Takes it on the hop. Coleman will take it. He is going to see if we can get him over to third base. 3-8-9. Freeze will take third base. That's going to be deep enough. Freeze keeps going. He takes third. Coleman still waits on first. We have runners on first and third here in the 6th inning. And that takes care of the mistake on Hobbie. That will be Ed Bailey, who is 0 for 2. He is grounded out and lined out. Hobbie's in the stretch. Cubs have still got Coleman on hold. Here is the pitch to Bailey. 1-7-3. This could be an interesting one, folks. It's heading out towards center field. Deep fly ball. Heist takes a few steps back and pulls it in. Tagging from third is Freeze. He scores, and we have a 5-1 Reds lead, which is what they were looking for. Coleman will stay on second. We have 2 away. Anything over 4 runs is a good lead for any team, except for Boston back then. Jim Bomber's our batter. He is 0 for 2, grounded out both times. Here is the pitch. 4-3-8. And he hits a nice flare up there. Holds out the belt, looks from the side, and here is the pitch. Lifted up towards center field. Heist is moving in slowly. Bakes gets his eye on the ball. Make sure he has it. Makes the play. And that is 3 down. At the end of the 6th inning, there was 1 run on 1 hit. 1 man left on base. It is 5-1 Cincinnati. Chicago's up to bat here in the 7th inning. We're getting ready for the 7th inning stretch. And Al is around, but I think he's got a game going, guys. I think he does. Al, it's time for you to sing for our friend over in Stratton, Delaware. I believe that's Eric, I think is his name. I cannot remember the poor guy from Strat's name. I apologize royally. Andre Rogers is the batter. He is 0 for 2. Does have the lone RBI on a ground ball. Here's the pitch. 2-8-3. Rogers tries to look real menacingly, and it was so menacing it went right over towards Casco and it popped up in the infield. Great weak pop-up. Got way underneath the ball. Was able to pop it up that way. Casco makes an easy catch. We have 1 down here in the top of the 7th inning. Mo Thacker's the batter is 0 for 2. He has grounded to Casco and struck out. One of O'Toole's 5 strikeouts. Here is the pitch. 0-3-4. O'Toole winds up and delivers. And here we go in. It's it for strike 3. Down goes Stacker. And we have 2 down. Down goes Stacker. Worse than a submarine trying to dive. Glenn Hobbie is our batter. We'll see if they're going to keep him in the game or they may lift him. Hobbie standing in. And no, George Altman will be coming in to pitch for Glenn Hobbie. Glenn Hobbie is done. We'll get his lineup after the end of the inning. George Foreman batted .303 for the Cubs. 138 games he got in. He had 27 home runs, 96 RBIs. He is a high strikeout for 1961. He struck out 92 times in the National League. He also had 28 doubles to go with that. Basically, 33% of his hits were for extra bases, which is an outstanding rate. He had 12 triples. This man is a huge threat to hit. Should have brought him last inning when he had 2 runners on base. He also is a strikeout person. Here is the pitch to Altman from O'Toole. 500 will be the call. And O'Toole kicks and deals in the air. Deep center field. Could be trouble. Pitch was initially fooled. I've got to delay that thing. I've got it shut off in one of the leagues. And deep to center field. Pinson headed back afterwards. Realized he was fooled on the ball where it was going. Got back, made a great aim, and made the catch. At the end of 6.5 innings, it is Cincinnati 5, Chicago 1. Jim O'Toole is our batter. The line for Glenn Hobbie is this. He gave up 7 hits, gave up 4 runs. I gave 5 runs, 4 earned. Had a double, gave up 2 home runs. One was a 2-run job by Frank Robinson. Then was a single shot by Wally Post. Walked 1, struck out 3. Decent start for the Cubbies. His ERA will probably be about almost 3, maybe it will be over 3. On this one here, we'll get at the end of the game. Jim O'Toole is at the box. He is 1 for 2 today. He also scored a run. Here is the pitch to O'Toole. 6-7-2. And that is heading out towards center field. Heist is coming down on a shallow fly ball. He's coming in for it. Makes the easy catch on the high fly ball. And O'Toole is down here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Whoops, that's 8, not 7, not 9. There we go. Let's not make that mistake. Okay, Eddie Kask's our man. He is 2 for 3 today. Has 2 base hits. Scored a run. Flown out to left field. Here is the pitch. 5-7-6. That is heading out towards left field. Wind up and deliver. It's in the air. Ashburn has a long way to go. He's heading it down. He nabs it on the run. Nice play by Ashburn. We have 2 down here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Coming to bat will be Vada Pinson. Vada Pinson's 1 for 3. Does have an RBI. He knocked in Jim O'Toole in the 5th inning. And was involved, he was the first half of a 5-4-3 double play. Here is the pitch to Pinson. 1-6-8. Pitch is on the way. It's a hard liner to right field. Coming up to get a beat on it is Williams, and he makes a fine running grab on that ball. We have 3 down on a 1-2-3 inning. Interesting, it did do the hat trick, 7, 8, and 9. Due up to bat for the Chicago Cubs here in the top of the 8th inning will be Richie Ashburn, Don Zimmer, and Billy Williams. So far the line on Jim O'Toole. We'll give you that at the 7th inning. Jim O'Toole right now is 1 run on 1 hit, walked 3, struck out 6, did hit a batter. And if that had gone the way, if it gone the way it looked like it was appearing to go to, we would have had that rarity of a no-hitter with a run. Doesn't happen often. When it does, it's funny. Here is the pitch to Richie Ashburn. He is 0 for 3. Last time he lined out to the first baseman. Here's the pitch. 2-1-9. And that is stopped out to second base. Barber's able to pick it up, guns him down. While with Coleman doing a little toe dance on the bat, he had to raise up high for that one. Bomber got a little too excited on it, threw it up just a little high. Good thing Coleman has long feet. Here is a pitch to Don Zimmer. He is 0 for 2. He has walked, and he has grounded out, flying out, and grounded out. Here's the pitch to Zimmer. 0-0-8. It's a sinker. Chased and missed by Zimmer for strike 3 on a sinker ball. We have O'Toole's 7th strikeout of the game. 2 down here in the top of the 8th inning. Coming to bat will be Billy Williams. Billy Williams is 1 for 3. He has the lone Cubs hit of the game. Got in the 6th inning on a base hit. Reached second and it was held up there. Here is the pitch to Williams. 3-3-8. And O'Toole kicks and deals. Chopper off the plate. Bailey has to wait to come down. Snatches it. Fires over Coleman for the out. And we have 3 down here. And at the end of 7.5 innings, Cincinnati 5 runs, 7 hits, 1 error. The Chicago Cubs 1 run on 1 hit and 1 error. Due up for the Cincinnati Reds will be Frank Robinson, Wally Post, and Gene Freeze. Frank Robinson is 1 for 3 today. He has struck out, grounded out. He hit into a 5-4-3 double play, and he hit a 2-run home run to start the game off. Here is the pitch to Frank Robinson. 8-8-7. And you can't keep a good man down. Elston's a new pitcher. Hit right back through the box. Gets by Elston, and it gets past Banks into center field. Heist will come up the real fast, and Robinson will get on first base with his 2nd hit of the game. Right up the middle. Elston didn't get a chance. By the way, this is Don Elston. This is his first game of the season here, so hold on, folks. He went 6 and 7. He was a complete reliever, had 8 saves, ERA of 5.59, struck out 59, walked 45. Does give up the gopher ball a little bit. Wally Post is our man. Frank Robinson's on first, and we're going to see if we get Frank Robinson over to second base. Let's see if we try to steal. 8-2-6. That's not going to be enough to get him on a decent lead. Pickoff throw. He is safe. Robinson avoids the tag. And here is the pitch to Wally Post. 1-8-4. Elson bears down. Pitch down the way, and he struck him out. He pulled the string and got Post the string right through it on a changeup. That is the first out here of these 8th inning. Second strikeout on Post. He struck out the last time also, if people remember. And you keep a score here in the stands. Coming to bat is Gene Freeze. And here is the pitch. 9-5-9. Cincinnati is going to try to extend this one out. And he's cranking. Dacker bobbles the ball, boots it up to the first base line. They're going to call that one a pass ball. Got popped out of his glove and kept right on going. Frank Robinson saw that, took full advantage of it. And freezes up. Here's the pitch. 8-0-8. That's heading out towards right field and swung on. Hit hard on the ground, and it gets through Rogers and Zimmer. Williams cuts it off in a hurry. Freezer holds with a single. They're waving Robinson around. Williams throwing it in. And Thacker again can't handle the ball. Robinson will score from second. We have the 6th run of the game for the Cincinnati Reds. And Gene Freeze has a base hit. He will take second base on the throw to the plate. It is 6-1 Cincinnati. Due up to bat is Gordy Coleman. Gordy Coleman is 1 for 3 today. Has a base hit in the 6th inning. Here is the pitch. 9-0-7. Coleman waiting. Elston delivers. It's a wild pitch. He puts something extra on it. He's just getting angrier and angrier. And we have a wild pitch. Freeze will take third. Coleman's on the mound. Here's the pitch. 2-7-2. And next offense from Elston. Swung on. Hard line drive in the right field, but Williams doesn't cover much ground. That's going to drop for a base hit of all things. Here comes Freeze for the 7th run of the game. Gordy Coleman is on with a base hit. And Williams' slow running is starting to catch up to him. Ed Bailey's our batter. He's 0 for 2. Does have an RBI. And here is the pitch on the fly ball. Here we go. 0-3-0. Cubs are having all sorts of problems in here in the 8th inning. But Elston manages to blow by him for a strikeout. That is 2 outs here in the 8th inning, both for strikeouts. Coming to bat is Jim Ballmer, who is 0 for 3 today, has flown out and grounded out twice. Coleman's on first. Here is the pitch. 6-2-0. Ballmer hits it hard, swung on, and a hard ground ball towards Santos. He hits it towards it, nips his glove, bounces towards the foul line. Error is going to be on Santos. He manages to get the ball. Coleman will take third on the empty bag. Ballmer will take second, and we have runners on an error by Ron Santos, the second Cub error of the game. Runner is on second, and Ballmer runs to second. Coleman's on third, and on the air, O'Toole is the pitcher. Elston is tired. I cannot remove him. It's the computer that has to do this. Here's the pitch to O'Toole. 1-3-7. Here we go. Pitched on its way, and got him swinging on a fastball. That is 3 down. When Elston hit it right, he struck him out. But we got 2 runs on 3 hits, 2 runners left on base, and 1 error on the Cubs. It is a 7-1 Cincinnati game. We have at the top of the 9th inning Ernie Banks, Ron Santos, Al Heist. The Cubs are in their last at-bats. Ernie Banks so far today is 0 for 2. He has a walk and has scored the lone Chicago run. Here is the pitch to Banks. 7-1-2. And ball 4, it's the second time that O'Toole has walked Ernie Banks. And that is his 4th walk of the game. Coming up to bat is Ron Santo. Ron Santo is 0 for 2. He has a walk, reached on air, grounded out. Here is the pitch to Santo. 8-5-1. And Santos gets a good hard bat on that one there. Pitch is heading out towards right field. That's a ground ball. Sharp to the right side. It just barely gets past Cone. Post comes up with it quickly. Santos on board. Post fires a rocket. It gets past the cutoff man right to the bag. Daring the runner to advance. And Santos Banks will sit at second base. Freeze has the ball on. No hop. Banks is on second. Santos on first with just a long single. Runs around second and first. Al Heiss is the man. Fairly decent butter. We're going to bring the corners in to see what happens here. And we have no out here in the top of the 9th inning. It is a 7-1 game. Here is the pitch. 0-0-9. O'Toole's in the stretch, delivers away. The infielders are creeping in. It's a swing and a miss, and he threw a nice changeup for his 8th strikeout of the game. We have 1 down. In the top 9th inning, runners are on first and second. Cubs are threatening with something. Due up the bat is Andre Rogers. He is 0 for 3 with an RBI. He is grounded out, flown out, and lined out. Here is the pitch to Rogers. The 6-3-9. And O'Toole's cranking away. There's the knuckler. Bailey can't handle it. Turns into a pass ball. O'Toole tried the knuckler. Bailey wasn't looking for it. And we have runners on second and third. On the pass ball. Very rare thing here going on. Didn't know that no one knew that O'Toole had a knuckler. Andre Rogers is at second base. Is at the plate. And the fielders are going to be there. Everybody's going to be in. Here is the pitch to Rogers. 1-1-1. Let's hope it goes right, guys. O'Toole's just steaming at himself. He fires. Here's the sign. Strike 3 called. Rogers is rung up. That is the 9th strikeout for O'Toole. We have 2 down here in the 9th inning. Runners are on second and third. Yes, it is only a 7-1 game, but we know in these games you could always score. I've had 7 runs scored in an inning, so it's not that hard to do. Molt Thacker's our batter. He has 2 strikeouts and a groundout. O'Toole is on the mound going for the complete game. Banks hits away. Santos, here we go. Here is the pitch to Thacker. 8-0-7. O'Toole's cranking. That's high. Ball 4. We have the bases loaded. That is O'Toole's 5th walk to go along with 9 strikeouts. That is the pitcher, Elston, who is up, but they are going to bring in a pinch hitter. I know they are. Wouldn't that be kind of dumb? Ed Boucher. Ed Boucher, or Boucher, probably. Boucher is the batter. He batted .248 for our Chicago Cubs. 12 home runs, 38 RBIs. Normal position is, he is a first baseman. Got to, actually ended up starting 107 games for them. And here is the pitch to Boucher. Bases loaded, folks. Here we go. 7-4-8. And ball 4, and he walked him. He walked the run in. That is the 6th walk on Jim O'Toole. Banks will score his 2nd run on a walk. Richie Ashburn is the batter. We are going to a reliever. O'Toole has had enough. He sort of pitched a semi-gem. Let's get a reliever in for O'Toole. We've got a choice of 2, Bill Henry and Jim Bronson. We're going to bring in Bill Henry to start the season off here for the Cincinnati Reds. Gotten 47 games, saved 16. We had an ERA of 2.19. 53 strikeouts to go along with just 15 walks. Good strikeout to walk ratio. That's a 3-to-1, 3.5 to 1. Excellent strikeout to walk ratio. And he had 1 strikeout per inning. Bill Henry's going to finish this game up for Jim O'Toole. It is 7-2. Ashburn is on the plate. Zimmer's is on deck. This is a save situation, whether you want to think so or not. Here is the pitch to Ashburn, who is 0 for 4 today. 5-0-4. And that is hit towards Eddie Casco. Looks at the belt. Here comes the pitch. It's swung on. It's going to be a hard ground ball up the middle, but Casco cuts it off quickly over towards second base. Lots of time. Fires Ashburn for the out. And that is the ball game. Cincinnati, 7 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. Chicago, 2 runs, 2 hits on 2 errors. O'Toole gets the win. Hobbie gets the loss. And I do believe they are going to give the save to Henry. Let's just find out. We're going to make this game official. Jim O'Toole is considered the pitcher, was considered the player of the game. I wouldn't exactly have gone there. Okay, but we won't talk about that. All right, here we go. You're going to be just as surprised as I am when I see the mound. All right. Oh, God, I hope everybody's still here watching. Hope so. Okay, here we go. And I was right. All right, for Cincinnati, Jim O'Toole pitched 8 2/3 innings. Gave up 2 hits, 2 runs. He walked 6, though. Struck out 9. Henry came in, got the save on 1/3 inning, and the reason why is because the tying run was on deck. That's why he got it. That was the rules back then. For the Chicago Cubs, Glenn Hobbie came in, gave up 4 runs on 7 hits, 1 earned, 5 earned, had 1 earned run in there, struck out 3, walked 1. Elston came in, unfortunately gave up 3 hits, 2 runs in 2 innings, both in the 8th. He struck out 3 and had a wild pitch. Our batters. And we're going to start at the bottom here first. Cincinnati did have Eddie Casco did hit a double. Frank Robinson and Wally Post both hit home runs. Ed Bailey had a sacrifice fly. Casco had the lone error for Cincinnati, and Bailey also was picked off on a pass ball by a knuckler that even he wasn't expecting. Excuse me. Eddie Casco was multiple hitter, 2 for 4 with a double. Frank Robinson was 2 for 4 with a home run and with a home run, 2 RBIs. Wally Post had the other home run for the Cincinnati Reds. He also struck out twice. Gordy Coleman was 2 for 4 for our multiple hitters for the Cincinnati Reds. They had 10 hits, 2 home runs, and they struck out 6 times. Sacrifice fly, and they had that lone error. For the Chicago Cubs, they really did nothing. As you can see, they left 8 runners on base, 6 via the walk. They did pull off 1 double play. Don Zimmer was hit in the back in one of the earlier innings. Mo Thacker was also the victim of a pass ball. Ernie Banks and Ron Santos both had errors. There were only 2 hits, one by Williams, one by Santos. Ernie Banks scored both runs. He walked both times, and he reached on a walk and a ground ball that was done by Andre Rogers. And that is it for this game. Again, the final was Cincinnati 7 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. And Chicago Cubs 2 runs, 2 hits, and 2 errors. I want to thank Beatles for showing up. I would like to thank... I'm going to stop by Al's game 2 with the Beatles. I'll see you over there. So you take care. I thank you much. I want to thank Tribe, who showed up for a while to watch. And if anybody else did, comments are always welcome. Thumbs up. Please hit the thumbs up. I always ask if everybody could, please. It was a very enjoyable time to do this. And Beatles, I will probably... now, if you're going to be... I'll probably try to get a morning game up. I got to go shop with my wife. I need to get a few things at Kohl's. But when I get back in the morning or the afternoon, I will put a game up at a decent time for you tomorrow. Let's see what we can find for you, all right? If you want a different year, give me a yell. I will play a different year just for one game just for you. But it has to be... it's going to end up being an opening day, so bear with it. Anyway, thank you much. I am going off to go see Al's game. I want to thank you. It was fun, and we will do this again, folks. Thank you very much.